The gun is pointed at the wrong person. Orders came down an hour ago. Find the rat, put a bullet in their head. No questions, no mercy. That's how this world works. But the evidence points to someone it can't possibly be. Someone who looks at you like you're still human. Someone who makes you forget, just for a moment, about the monster you're becoming. The full moon is 3 days away. 3 days until the transformation takes over completely. 3 days until control slips away for good. And there's a secret bigger than both of you, a war you can't see coming, built with creatures like you, designed to burn everything down. The family is watching, the FBI is counting down, and the person standing in front of you right now is hiding something that could end you both. Trust is a luxury neither of you can afford, but when every choice leads to blood and every secret is a loaded gun, sometimes the most dangerous thing you can do is tell the truth. When your own lies are the only thing keeping you alive, how do you know when it's time to stop running and when the person you're falling for might be the one sent to destroy you? Do you pull the trigger first, or do you take the risk that could save you both? This is what happens when love becomes the deadliest weapon of all. Sophia Raines stood outside Lunar Eclipse nightclub at exactly 9 p.m. Red neon reflected off wet pavement, bass thumped through the walls. She could turn around right now, walk away, go back to her desk job at the FBI. But Agent Chen's words echoed in her head. 30 days. Get evidence, get out. She pushed open the door. A woman with severe black hair waited inside. You're the accountant. Sophia Raines. Gabriella, I manage the floor. Your office is upstairs. Sophia followed her through the club. Bodies pressed together on the dance floor. Security watched from every corner. She cataloged exits without looking like she was cataloging exits. The office was small. One desk, filing cabinets, a computer that looked ancient. Antonio wants the books organized by Friday, Gabriella said. Someone will check on you. Then she was gone. Sophia sat down, opened the first ledger. The numbers were deliberately messy. Shell companies layered 3 deep, cash deposits that made no sense. Exactly what the FBI suspected. She pulled out her phone, started photographing pages. Footsteps in the hallway made her freeze. A man filled the doorway. Tall, dark suit, eyes that measured everything about her in 3 seconds. You're the new accountant, he said. Not a question, a statement. Yes, Sophia. Marco. He stepped inside, closed the door behind him. Sophia's training screamed at her to look calm, look boring, look forgettable. Antonio values discretion, Marco said quietly. You see things here, you forget them. You hear things, they never happened. I just organize numbers. Good. He stared at her for a long moment, like he could see through skin to the lies underneath. Then his jaw tightened. He pressed fingers to his temple. A flash of pain crossed his face. Are you okay? Sophia asked before she could stop herself. Marco's hand dropped. Fine. But he wasn't. She saw it in the tension of his shoulders, the way his hands clenched. I'll be checking on you regularly, he said. Get comfortable. He left without another word. Sophia exhaled. Her hands were shaking. This was going to be harder than she thought. Marco made it to the basement bathroom before the tremor started. His reflection showed eyes that were wrong, too yellow, too bright. 26 days until the full moon. He'd been counting since Romania, since the hit went bad, since something with teeth and impossible strength tore through his team. He should have died in that snow. Instead, he woke up different. The first transformation nearly killed him. The second, he'd locked himself in a warehouse and prayed the walls would hold. Now he felt it every day, the wolf under his skin, getting stronger. The Vitelli family couldn't know. Weakness meant death in this world. Marco splashed cold water on his face, forced his breathing to slow. The yellow faded from his eyes. He thought about the new accountant, Sophia. Antonio suspected a plant, someone sent by rivals or law enforcement. Marco's job was to find out which. But there was something about her that didn't fit. She was nervous, trying too hard to look like she wasn't nervous, and she'd asked if he was okay. When was the last time anyone asked him that? The wolf stirred in his chest, interested. Marco shoved it down. He had a job to do. He went back upstairs to watch her. Sophia worked until midnight. She photographed what she could, memorized account numbers, built a mental map of shell companies in her head. When she finally packed up, she expected the office to be empty. Marco was waiting by the back exit. She jumped, actually jumped. "Late night," he said. "Just finishing up. You shouldn't walk to your car alone, not in this neighborhood." It wasn't a suggestion. He followed her to the parking lot, watched her unlock her door. "I'll follow you home," Marco said. "Make sure you get there safe." "That's not necessary." "I insist." Sophia drove with his headlights in her rearview mirror the whole way. He waited outside her apartment building until she was inside. Only then did he drive away. Sophia locked her door, drew every curtain, called Chen with shaking hands. "He followed me home," she said. "Expected. You're new. They don't trust anyone." "What if he figures it out?" "He won't. Your cover is solid." But Sophia couldn't shake the feeling that Marco saw too much. She looked out the window. His car was gone, but she still felt watched. 1 week passed. Sophia came to work, organized books, smiled at Gabriella, took mental notes of everyone who came and went. Marco checked on her every night. Sometimes he stood in the doorway and watched. Sometimes he sat in the chair across from her desk and asked questions. Not about the books, about her, where she was from, what she studied, why she took this job. Sophia gave careful answers, true enough to pass, vague enough to protect. On day 8, she broke protocol. "Do you get headaches?" she asked. Marco looked up from his phone. "What?" "You keep rubbing your temples, like something hurts." He went very still. "I'm fine." "There's aspirin in my bag if you need it." For a moment, surprise flickered across his face. She slid the bottle across the desk. Marco stared at it like it was a weapon. Then he took 2 pills, swallowed them dry. "Thank you," he said quietly. "You're welcome." Something shifted between them. Small, dangerous. Sophia knew she should pull back, keep distance, stay professional. But she didn't. Meanwhile, Marco received new orders. Antonio summoned him to the office above the club. Dark wood, old leather, the smell of expensive cigars. "The accountant," Antonio said. "What's your read?" "She's clean so far. Good with numbers." "Too clean?" Marco hesitated. "Maybe. Run a full background check. I want to know everyone she's ever talked to." Marco nodded. He started digging that night. High school records, college transcripts, employment history, every detail of Sophia Rain's life. The cover was perfect, almost too perfect. Nobody's life was this clean. Marco kept digging. Sophia's phone buzzed at 2 a.m. Chen's voice was tight. "Someone's running deep background on you." "How deep?" "Everything. They're thorough." Sophia sat up in bed. "Will it hold?" "Should, but be careful." She couldn't sleep after that. The next night at work, she watched Marco watching her. "Find anything interesting?" she asked. His eyes narrowed. "About what?" "The books. I reorganized the filing system." "Right, the books." He didn't look away. Neither did she. "You're very good at your job," Marco said. "Almost too good." "Is that a problem?" "Depends on what your job actually is." The air went sharp between them. Sophia forced herself to breathe normally. "I organize numbers, that's all." "That's all? What else would there be?" Marco stood, walked to her desk, leaned down until they were eye level. Everyone here has secrets, he said quietly. The question is whether yours will get you killed. Do you have secrets? Sophia asked. Wrong question. Dangerous question. But she needed to know if she was the only one hiding. Marco's jaw tightened. For just a second, his eyes flashed yellow. Sophia blinked. The color was gone. Must have been the light. More than you can imagine, Marco said. Then he walked out. 15 days in, Sophia had enough evidence to justify a raid. But she'd also found something else. Patterns the FBI hadn't mentioned. Money moving to medical facilities, private doctors, research labs, payments to something called Nightfall Solutions. She searched the name, found nothing. The pieces didn't fit. On day 17, she heard sounds from the basement, gasping, something breaking. She should have stayed upstairs, minded her business. Instead, she went down. Marco was doubled over against the wall, breathing hard. His hands weren't right. Claws pushed through where fingernails should be. Sophia froze. Marco looked up, saw her. His eyes were completely yellow now. "Get out," he growled. His voice was wrong, deeper, animal. "You're hurt." I said, "Get out." But Sophia didn't run. She stepped closer instead. "Let me help." "You can't." Marco's voice cracked. "No one can." The claws retracted slowly, like it took everything he had. His eyes faded back to brown. He slumped against the wall, exhausted. Sophia knelt beside him. "What's happening to you?" "You need to leave this place," Marco said. "Tonight, don't come back." "I can't." "Why not?" Because the FBI was counting on her, because she had a job to finish, but looking at him, she knew the real reason. "Because I need to understand," Sophia said. Marco laughed, bitter, broken. "Understand what? That monsters are real?" "You're not a monster." "Look at me." He showed her his hand. Claws pushed through skin again, then retracted. Over and over, like his body couldn't decide what it was. "It's getting worse," he said. "Every day I lose more control. Next full moon, I might not come back." "How long?" 9 days. Sophia did the math. 9 days until the full moon, 13 days until the FBI raid. How did this happen? Marco closed his eyes. "Job in Romania. 6 months ago. Something attacked us in the mountains, killed everyone else. I should have died too." "But you didn't." "No, I became this instead." Sophia sat beside him on the cold concrete floor. This wasn't part of her mission. This wasn't what she was trained for. But she couldn't leave him like this. "Does Antonio know?" "No. If the family finds out, I'm dead." "So you've been hiding it?" "For 6 months. Alone." Just like she'd been hiding who she really was. 2 people, both lying, both terrified of being discovered. "We're quite a pair," Sophia said softly. Marco looked at her, really looked at her. "You're hiding something too," he said. "I've known since the first night." Sophia's heart stopped. "Your background is perfect, too perfect. And the way you watch everyone, you're gathering information." "Marco." "I don't care." He cut her off. "Whatever you're really doing here, it's probably better than what Antonio has planned." "Then why haven't you told him?" "Because you offered me aspirin." Marco smiled, sad and tired. "Because you looked at me like I was worth something." Sophia's chest ached. She reached for his hand, his human hand. "You are worth something." "You don't know that." "I do." The next morning, Antonio called an emergency meeting. Marco stood in the office with Luca and 3 other enforcers. Antonio's face was dark. "We have a rat. Someone's feeding information to the feds." Marco's blood went cold. "How do you know?" Luca asked. "Kozlov told me. Said he has proof. He's offering to show us tonight." "Kozlov," Marco said. "Our biggest rival? Strange, right? But if there's an informant, I need to know who." Antonio looked directly at Marco. "I want you to find them. Use whatever methods necessary." Marco nodded. His mind was already racing. If they knew about Sophia, if they had proof. Meeting is tonight at the docks. You, me, and Luca. We see what Kozlov has, then we handle it. Marco left the office, went straight to the club. Sophia was at her desk, reviewing spreadsheets. He grabbed her arm. We need to go, now. What? They know there's an informant. They're getting proof tonight. Sophia's training kicked in. She grabbed her phone, her bag, nothing else. Where are we going? Somewhere I can think. He drove fast, checked mirrors constantly. No one followed. They ended up at the docks, an abandoned warehouse Marco used during full moons. Inside was sparse, chains bolted to the floor, reinforced walls. You can't go back to your apartment, Marco said. They'll be watching. Sophia pulled out her phone, called Chen. I'm compromised, need extraction. Chen's voice was sharp. When? Now. 2 hours, stay hidden. Sophia hung up, dropped the phone. Marco crushed it under his boot, threw the pieces into the water outside. 2 hours, he said, then you disappear. What about you? I'll go to the meeting, find out what Kozlov really wants. That's suicide. Maybe, but if I don't show, Antonio knows something's wrong. Sophia grabbed his jacket. You're coming with me. Where? Witness protection? Living the rest of my life hiding from everyone? Better than dying. Marco gently removed her hands. I'm not worth this, he said. Let me decide that. They had 90 minutes before extraction. Sophia used it to think, to piece together what she knew. The Kozlovs, she said. What do you know about them? Russian mob, brutal, making moves on our territory. How? Our people keep vanishing. Operations get disrupted. What if they have inside weapons? Sophia said slowly. What if they're making more like you? Marco went still. What? I found payments in the books to medical facilities, research labs, something called Nightfall Solutions. I don't know that name. What if the thing that attacked you in Romania wasn't random? What if someone sent it? The pieces clicked together, horrible and clear. They turned me on purpose, Marco said. The Kozlovs, they're building an army. Of werewolves? Then tonight's meeting is probably a trap to activate you somehow. Marco stared at his hands. How? Blood bonds, magic contracts. I don't know the details, but if they created you, they might control you. No, I won't let them. It might not be a choice. Then what do I do? Sophia thought fast. What if the transformation timeline matters? What if they're waiting for you to fully turn before they trigger the bond? The full moon, 9 days. Same timeline for whatever they're planning. Marco started pacing. If I don't show tonight, Antonio thinks I'm the rat. If I do show, Kozlov might activate something I can't fight. Then we tell Antonio the truth, Sophia said. About what? Everything. What you are, what the Kozlovs are planning, what I am. He'll kill us both. Or he'll realize his real enemy isn't us. It was a terrible risk, but they were out of options. Sophia's extraction time came and went. She stayed. Chen would be furious. The FBI would call her compromised, but she couldn't let Marco face this alone. They drove to Antonio's office together. Luca was already there. He stared at Sophia with open suspicion. What's she doing here? Antonio demanded. You need to hear this, Marco said. He told Antonio everything. Romania, the attack, the transformation, the pattern of missing enforcers. Antonio listened in complete silence. When Marco finished, the room was deathly quiet. Show me, Antonio said. Marco hesitated, then held out his hand. Claws pushed through skin. His eyes flashed yellow. Lucas swore, reached for his gun. Don't, Antonio commanded. The claws retracted. Marco's hand was bloody, but healing already. The Kozlovs did this? Antonio asked. We think so. Antonio turned to Sophia. And you? She said. No point lying now. I was sent to investigate your organization. Luca definitely had his gun out now. But I found something bigger, Sophia continued quickly. Payments to facilities researching biological weapons. The Kozlovs are creating soldiers. She recited the account numbers from memory, the shell companies, the patterns. Antonio studied her. Why tell me this? Because whatever you're doing, it's nothing compared to what they're planning. Antonio was quiet for a long moment. Then he stood. The meeting with Kozlov is in 1 hour. We're still going. Boss, Lucas started. All of us, including her, Antonio pointed at Sophia. We're going to see exactly what Kozlov wants, and then we're going to end this. Marco looked at Sophia. She nodded. They were doing this together. The warehouse at the docks was cold and empty. Kozlov waited with 3 men, all of them too calm, too confident. Antonio, Kozlov grinted, heavy accent. You brought friends. You said you had information. I do. You have a federal rat. Her. He pointed at Sophia. Antonio didn't react. And you're telling me this why? Because I want partnership. Your territory, my resources. Together we own this city. And if I refuse? Kozlov smiled, pulled out a small device. Then I show you what my resources can do. He pressed a button. Markov screamed. He doubled over, bones cracking, reshaping. The transformation was fast, violent. Stop it! Sophia lunged forward. One of Kozlov's men grabbed her. Antonio had his gun out, so did Luca. But Marco was changing. Wolf form, massive, yellow eyes locked on Antonio. You see, Kozlov said calmly, I control him. And there are others, an army, waiting. Kill him, Kozlov commanded. But Marco didn't move. He turned, looked at Kozlov instead, and growled. Impossible, Kozlov said. The bond. Marco lunged, not at Antonio, at Kozlov. Chaos erupted, gunfire, shouting. Sophia broke free, grabbed a pipe from the floor, swung at the nearest man. He went down hard. Antonio fought with brutal efficiency. Luca covered him. Marco had Kozlov pinned, teeth at his throat. Call them off, Antonio shouted. Kozlov fumbled for the device. Marco's jaw tightened, drew blood. Call them off, or he kills you. Stand down, Kozlov screamed. His men stopped, guns lowered. Marco shifted back, slow, painful, human again. He stood, bloody, exhausted. The bond didn't work, he said, voice rough. It should have, Kozlov gasped. Maybe he's stronger than you thought, Sophia said. Antonio shot Kozlov in the leg. The man screamed. You're going to tell me everything, Antonio said. Every facility, every person you turned, all of it. Kozlov talked. 3 days later, Sophia sat in a safe house upstate. The FBI had shut down Nightfall Solutions, arrested everyone connected. It would take years to unravel completely. Sophia had negotiated witness protection for herself and for Marco. Antonio had declared Marco dead, killed heroically in the raid on Kozlov. It was freedom for both of them. Marco stood by the window, looking at the woods beyond. The full moon is tomorrow, he said quietly. I know. You don't have to stay. I know that too. Sophia walked to him, took his hand. But I'm staying anyway. Why? Because you fought the blood bond, because you chose. That matters. What if I can't control it? Then we have chains, a locked room. We'll figure it out. Marco pulled her close. You gave up everything. I chose this, Sophia said firmly. Don't feel guilty about my choices. The full moon rose the next night. Sophia locked the reinforced room from the outside, watched through the small window. Marco transformed, violent, painful, but when the wolf looked at her, something was different. Recognition. He pressed against the door, not aggressive, just close. I'm here. I'm not leaving. The wolf lay down, watching her. She stayed all night, talking, reminding him who he was. When dawn came, Marco shifted back. He was crying when she opened the door. You stayed. I told you I would. I remembered your voice during the transformation. Then we're making progress. It wasn't perfect, wasn't a cure, but it was a beginning. Sophia had spent her whole life chasing the truth, following evidence, trusting only what she could prove. Marco had spent his life following orders, hiding who he was, trusting no one. They'd both learned something new. Sometimes trust isn't about knowing everything, it's about choosing to believe anyway. The wolf was part of him, the FBI was part of her past, but they were building something new together. No more secrets, no more hiding, just two people who found each other in the darkness and chose to stay. If you've ever hidden something about yourself because you were afraid of being seen as a monster, you're not alone. Sometimes the most dangerous thing we can do is tell the truth, but maybe that's also the only way to be free.